The elements, the most basic of offensive magic, yet arguably the most impactful. As such, some wizards seek to further this branch of magic, often favoring a specific element and shaping their spells around it. Hello everybody, I'm Tabletop Nephilim, and this is my first homebrew subclass, the Elementalist Wizard.
And yes, I know, look like a goblin, let's just move on now.
Hey, just adding this in last minute. While looking for images to use for a thumbnail for this, I found out that someone also made an Elementalist Wizard subclass. I haven't looked at it, I just want to say, I swear I have not seen it, I have not copied anyone, this is my own take. So if it ends up being similar, it was not on purpose. Have you ever wanted to make a spellcaster based around a specific damage type, but that damage type either had too few spell options with that damage type, or too many monsters that resisted it? Well, this subclass looks to fix those problems and then some. At the end of a long rest, you can choose an elemental affinity, choosing one of the following damage types: fire, cold, lightning, acid, poison, thunder, or bludgeoning. Whenever you cast a wizard spell that deals damage, you can change the damage type to your chosen elemental affinity. Spells that deal damage of your elemental affinity also have a secondary effect depending on the elemental affinity you chose. With fire, the target ignites. A creature takes 1d8 fire damage at the start of each of its turns until it or another creature uses its action to put the fire out. With cold, the creature has its movement speed reduced by 10 until the start of your next turn. For lightning, a creature cannot take reactions until the start of its next turn. With acid, the target is covered with acid. A creature has its AC reduced by 2 and takes 1d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turns until it or another creature uses their action to scrape away the acid or wash it off. For poison, a creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be poisoned for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a successful save. For thunder, spell attacks against a creature made of inorganic materials have advantage, while a creature made of inorganic materials has disadvantage on saving throws to reduce or avoid damage. And with bludgeoning, the target is either knocked prone or pushed back 10 feet. These effects do of course stack on top of whatever the spell you're casting already does, so have fun with that. At level 6, you learn to fight fire with fire. Your spells now ignore resistance to your chosen elemental affinity, but not immunity. At level 10, you get Empowered Elementalism, allowing you to add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of any spell you cast that deals damage of your elemental affinity. You also gain access to more esoteric elements and can choose 2 damage types for your elemental affinity per day. You decide which damage type takes effect when you cast a spell. Radiant. The creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be blinded for 1 minute. Force. The creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be stunned for 1 minute. Psychic. A creature must succeed on an Intelligence saving throw or be under the effects of the Bane spell for 1 minute. Each of these saving throws can of course be repeated at the end of a creature's turn, ending the effect on a success. And lastly, Necrotic. A creature cannot regain hit points until the start of your next turn. At level 14, you get Focused Burn. As a bonus action, you can force a creature you can see within 30 feet of you to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature gains vulnerability to one of your chosen elemental affinities for 1 minute. If the creature has immunity to that damage type, it instead loses that immunity for the duration. You have a number of uses of this feature equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses at the end of a long rest. Now would be the part where I tell you how well the subclass multiclasses with other classes. It kind of doesn't. The fact that you can only use elemental affinity with wizard spells means the only classes that you can really use this with is the Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster. To be fair though, the only other class that wizard really plays nice with is Artificer, but only because it is also an intelligence-based caster. Still, even as a pure wizard, you can do a lot with the subclass. The damage from acid and fire might be paltry at later levels, but it's still good to be able to make a creature use up its action. Meanwhile, the other effects offer a great deal of control, the saving throw effect specifically being great for creatures with legendary resistance. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Sorry it took so long to get the first of these out. I actually have subclasses in the works for every class, most of them almost done. It's just hard to get the balancing right when you can't get anybody to help you test them. Basically, I'm just going to see if I can eyeball it, so to speak, for some of these. For the more complex or potentially overpowered ones, I will be needing to actually playtest them somehow. The PDF for this subclass will be available for download on my Patreon at the $5 tier, links in the description below. Again, thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this subclass, and I will see you all whenever I can get the next one out. Later.